Hey guys, this is Woodshop Junkies and today I'm jumping back in with my latest woodworking hobby shop project. Right guys, so not too long ago I made a video where I explained that I would like to dedicate a segment of my time and my channel to designing and building projects in a way that would bring them into the scope of ability of people like myself, weekend woodworkers or hobby shop woodworkers, people that might be limited on time and resources, or maybe even people who are just still learning. Now, to achieve this, during the design process, I focus on a simplified assembly, and if today's project ends up looking the way I had envisioned, it should make for a beautiful addition to the home. And if it works the way I had envisioned, it should be adaptable to a variety of applications as well. Right, so for today's project, I designed a decorative unit that incorporates a backboard, a floating shelf, and a drawer to give me a trifecta of usability. The backboard can be used to suspend items like keys, coats, or even a guitar, the shelf to stack items like books, and the drawer to remove clutter and store items out of sight. To give you a very basic example, if you built this unit as a guitar stand, you could use a custom bracket to suspend the guitar on the backboard. On the shelf you could have some guitaring related books, and in the drawer you could put your picks, tuners, capos, stuff like that. So as I said, for this project I want to marry functionality with a decorative piece of furniture, and to help me achieve the latter I'm choosing a wood species that I consider to be visually appealing. The wood I'm using is one of my personal favorites. It's a hardwood called kiat and it is native to the southern parts of Africa. Okay guys, so the first component in this project is the backing, and it is very straightforward because it's made using a single plank. The length of this plank will differ between projects depending on what I want to suspend on the backing. Next up is the shelf component, and to get the surface of the shelf I need to laminate two planks together. Now the two planks together is slightly wider than I need them to be, so before I glue them together I run them through the table saw. This also ensures that I have a straight square edge to join the two planks together. To assist with the alignment of the two planks during the gluing process, I'm going to use dowels. And to assist with the doweling, I'm going to use my joint mate doweling jig. The joint mate doweling solution is not perfect, but it is a fairly cheap and easy way to join wood. I have in the past done a more detailed review of this product and it is added to both my Amazon storefronts. So if you guys want to check out pricing and availability, or you want to check out that review, all the relevant links will be in the description of this video. Part of the floating shelf is the support structure that will also form the housing for the drawer. And that is what I'm jumping on next. Now guys, in trying to keep with my simplified assembly that I'm trying to achieve with this project, this component is going to be assembled using dowels as well. Now, to keep track of the orientation of the slats and the two side panels, I marked the corners of the side panels and the corresponding slats. And as I said, to assemble this component, I'm once again going to use dowels, but this time to find the corresponding dowel hole center, I'm going to use dowel hole center points. I will add these to my Amazon storefronts as well if you guys are looking to get your hands on some. Right, so that's the backing and the shelf prepped, and as soon as the glue has cured, I can assemble the components. While I give it a minute, I'm going to assemble the drawer. Now guys, here I am being a little bit lazy because I'm cutting the slot for the drawer base before sizing up the planks. To cut the joints for the drawer assembly, I'm going to be a little bit lazy again. I'm going to use my miter saw. The problem with this technique is the fact that my miter saw is fitted with an 8TB blade. This means it won't create a flat or flush cut at the base. So I'm still going to have to do a little bit of chisel work to clean up the cut. Now guys, once again, as I said, I'm trying to make the assembly of this project as simple and straightforward as possible. Working with a chisel can be a bit daunting, and as you can see, I still need a lot of practice as well, but if you don't try, you'll never learn. Before assembling the drawer, I quickly ran the sander over all the components because once the drawer is assembled, it's going to be tricky to sand the inside. This is not the best way to join drawer panels, but because this is not a very big drawer and it's not going to carry a crazy amount of weight, I figured I'll be okay. If I do run into problems, I'll strengthen the corners with some brad nails. Right, so now I'm just going to give the glue on the drawer a moment to cure, and then I can start with the assembly. Where the backing and the floating shelf is going to meet, I once again create a joint. This is to better marry the two components. As we all know, wood moves, and wood tends to move more across its grain than along its length. That's why I'm cutting this slot so I can secure the top using clips and so accommodate that movement. Also, before I start the assembly, I'm adding a cosmetic chamfer to the backing. Personally, I like sharp edges more than rounded ones. Okay, so that's the backing or the suspension component and the floating shelf or the stacking component complete. The backing, obviously, I still need to add the suspension hooks or suspension types, but that's going to be determined by whatever I decide to store on this unit. So next is the third storage type, which is the drawer. Now the unit I'm building here is for my riding gear, so I'm going to have a custom bracket for my helmet and a place to hang my jacket. In the drawer I can store my goggles, gloves and all the other things I always find myself looking for when I want to go out for a ride. For a cleaner and more modern look, I'm not going to install a drawer pull and instead I'm going with a push to open. Right, so with the installation of the drawer, it completes the assembly that will be common to all the variations of this project I'm likely to build. I will play around with some of the dimensions like the width and the length of the backing, the size of the floating shelf or the depth of the drawer, depending on the application. But the basic assembly and the way it is put together will remain the same. So to give you another example of an idea I have for this design is a floating bedside cabinet, in which case the backing doesn't need to be so big. A narrow piece of wood can become a very nice mounting place for a bed lamp. But for now I'm going to focus on getting this one finished. So I'm going to add my custom suspension points for my gear I want to store on here before adding my mounting brackets and treating it so I can get to using it. I'm adding a single suspension point towards the top of the backing, but this is not to carry the bulk of the weight, but rather just to keep the backing against the wall. The main fixing points are going to be added at the base. As for treatment, I prefer to keep as much of the original wood characteristics as possible, so all I use is a bit of furniture oil. Okay guys, so that's pretty much it for my latest hobby shop project. I had a lot of fun with this one and it didn't take too much time. In fact, it was less than a day's work, so you can squeeze it in on a Saturday. The best part is it's not too material intensive. In fact, the entire project was built using less than 2 full-length plank. And that's mostly due to the very long backboard. I am building a scaled or smaller version as an entryway table to my house where I can drop my phone, wallet, keys and stuff like that when I get home from work. The design and assembly is going to be pretty much identical, so I'm not going to bother making another full-length video on it, but I will post a short abbreviated version of that assembly on my Facebook page if you guys want to check it out. Now guys, I do plan on making plans available for this project, but it's going to take me a couple of days to put it together. I will link it in the description of this video when I do, so if that's something you are interested in, check back in a week or so to see if they are out. And with that comes the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, if you aren't subscribed yet and you want to see more videos like this, you should do that now. Now, I am working towards going full-time with my brand, and if you guys want to help me achieve that goal, a like and a comment goes a long way. And if you want to be very generous, a super thanks would be greatly appreciated. For now, however, thank you so much for watching. Till next time. Cheers.